Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Ultra Running News Network, episode 6. Here we go. Johnny, what's going on?
Not a lot. Feeling good. Music gets me amped.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Send.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. Some interesting stuff. I'm going to go over some race results from last weekend and even the weekend before because we missed something that I'll tell you about. We have Ultra Running Magazine's top 3 ultra runners of the world. So not just North America and Mexico. It's the whole world. So
the whole world.
We are
flat
the world.
Or flat or round?
Well, to be determined. No. We have the data awards, which ultrasignup did, which is some interesting categories. And then we have the FKTs of the year, FKTs of 2023, which a lot of them we actually talked about when we did our FKTs episode. And there is some breaking news with the whole UTMB saga that we're gonna begrudgingly kind of get into today. I was kind of putting that one off, but we can't ignore it anymore. We gotta dive in.
I love it. Give me the drama. Give me the drama.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff, late breaking. And then we're gonna close the show out with a fun little story, but we'll tell you that, dangle the carrot, and that way you have to stay to the end to hear the fun story. So, all right, let's go ahead and pull up some results. So last week we started to go over Bandera's race results, and we talked about the 100K winner,
course record setter.
Yeah, who beat Walmsley's previous course record, Hans Troyer did, in 7 hours and 45 minutes. And after we talked about that, we basically said if it was still a golden ticket race, that he would have won his golden ticket in the Western States, but he didn't because it's not a golden ticket race anymore. So we went down a rabbit hole about golden ticket races and completely forgot to go over the other results. And there was some important results. So the female 100K winner was Colleen Chase in 10 hours and 32 minutes. And then going to the 50K, there's 2 50Ks, which is weird. There's one on Sunday, I think, which is most of the fast elite runners, and there's one on Saturday. So I was thrown off by that, but the faster times are on the Sunday one. So anyways, Brandon Miller was first place overall, and he also set a course record at Bandera for the 50K. So I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that and acknowledge the women's winners. And the women's winner of the 50K was Catherine Edwards, and she did 4 hours and 54 minutes. So congrats to the Bandera folks.
If Hans really wanted to impress me, he would have went out and did the 50K on Sunday also.
Yeah. and set the course record for that one too.
Right. I mean, listen, man, like, what are we talking about? It is kind of wild though, talking about what Hans will be doing here in a little bit. It is kind of wild when you look at Black Canyon, how many people do run the 100K on Saturday and then turn around and do the 50K on Sunday. I remember running that and listening to people talk about that, and I'm like, that sounds fucking horrible. That sounds horrible. Like, and like, what's weird is like you run a 100-miler, right? So, but there's something about wrapping up 100K, going home, going to bed, letting all that good juicy lactic acid build up.
Yeah.
And then waking up at the ass crack of dawn again, just to go out and knock out a 50K. Like, that sounds absolutely tragic.
I mean, after we finished up Black Canyon last year, by the time we got back, it was already like 2 a.m.
It was super late. It was super
and
late.
Then
and I
shower and like grab a snack. You know, it's like 3:30. You get into bed. Can you imagine having to wake up a few hours later and go do the 50K?
I mean, get ready to judge me. I'm not sure I am going home and or showering if I'm doing the 100K and the 50K. Right? Like, I legit might just have like a nice sleeping bag and tent.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, cool, just take me back to where the starting line is, and I'll sleep there tonight and like go out and run this thing.
Like, that would probably be better, because I think I would blow my entry fee and just like stay in bed.
Sleep right through it. Yeah.
Go out to breakfast.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And like Johnny said, speaking of Hans Troyer, as we suspected, he's pretty new on the ultra running scene. Only a few races under his belt. He kind of really shocked the world by beating Walmsley's record at Bandera. And now we found out that he's going to Black Canyon in a couple weeks. So he's shooting his shot for a golden ticket in the Western States. Be interesting.
I don't know. Like, I am pretty stoked to tune in a couple weeks and just see what he did. Like I'm pretty stoked about it. Like, I really hope it's not one of those things where like there's like a little bit of hype. I know we had a runner here local that had a really, really great race at JFK, and and like people were like, oh, this could be it. This could be it. Like she could do it. And then you go out and like, that's the bad thing with ultra running. You have like you just have those shitty days where you do everything right and like it's just not your day. And it is what it is. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen to him too. It's just kind of a cool story to watch him kind of explode onto the scene.
Yeah, it'll be must watch TV. They do the live stream out there, so it'll be fun to follow when they do that in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll have a little Black Canyon preview.
Yeah.
The show before Black Canyon. So, all right. Getting in, and also we talked about the winter spine race that had started a few days before our last episode, and there was one finisher at the time we were filming our last one, and that's Jack Scott. And it turns out his 72-hour and 55-minute finish at Spine Race was a winter spine race course record. He blew the course record away, actually. So that's cool. And first place for the female in the winter spine race was Claire Banworth, which we've talked about on the show a few times. I think we talked about her because she said the FKT on the Colorado Trail, going west to east and taking the collegiate east route. There's the Colorado Trail. It has, you can go west east, east to west, and then in the middle of it, around the collegiate peaks, you can go. There's like an east route or a west route around the collegiate peaks. So there's really like four different ways you can do that FKT. So she holds the west to east with the collegiate east route, self-supported FKT. And she had a heck of a year in 2023 as well. She won Trailcat 200, Kodiak 100, Tahoe 200, 5th at Hard Rock, and 16th at UTMB. So she had a monster year.
That's a year. That's a whole, like I said about Courtney, that's a whole career. That's a career. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I know. Just one 200-mile race. Well, you did Tahoe 200, so you got a 200 under your belt. But
my wife has a 200 underneath my belt. Like if it wasn't for my wife, that'd be a big fat DNF. My wife has a 200 buckle under my belt, if you will. You know what I mean? Like that's all things. But yeah, Claire, I want to go back and talk about, like, touch on something you had said that Jack Scott had crushed the record. I think this is interesting about big races like this. He beat the previous record by 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours is like, it's such a hysterical thing to think about that, like that's a half a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's wild to like wrap your head around. Like,
that's working some OT.
right. So it's also for like on the note of like how much space and time there is between, records and like just places and people and courses. The year I did Tahoe, the person who won it finished 40 hours before me. So like I remember coming into the
whole work week.
And that's the whole, I remember like processing like, man, like if that dude was like an accountant or a lawyer, like they legit could have put in a whole billable work week. in the time I was out there just being miserable as shit. Like that is an amazing. But anywho, this dude setting a record by 10 hours, like that's fast. Then adding like a substantial, like that is just insane to go that much faster than an extremely fast person. So anyway, that just really blows my mind.
Yeah, and that's a 268-mile, 40,000 feet of climbing, but that's not even the hard part about that course. I mean, you're going through like crazy weather. You're going through bogs. You're going, these fells in the Lake District, sometimes they can get pretty messy. So, and windy too. So there's no trees out there. So, so kudos to him. I mean, 72 hours, that's no joke.
No.
In the winter's fine. So.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to some races from the weekend, and the Hong Kong 100K. So, well, there's a few different races, but I think the 100K is the feature event. And so the 100K for male, I'm going to mess this name up and I feel bad. So, but I'll try. Guangfu Meng, and he did it in 10 hours and 16 minutes. And Pei Quan Yu, 10 hours and 35 minutes. And let's see. And then we have an American. Okay, so we have Chinese runner in first, Chinese runner in second, and we have Tyler Green out of Oregon, one of the top 10 ultra runners of the year, North America. Tyler Green coming in third.
Gotta love some Tyler Green. Absolutely love Tyler Green.
Yeah, he's just seems like a cool guy, and there's no other Americans not in the top 50. He's the only American in the top 50. So congrats to him. That's just awesome. And in the female race, we have Lin Chen in 12 hours and 44 minutes, Ying Li in 13 hours and 39 minutes, and Yuan Wu in 13 hours and 54 minutes, all Chinese runners. So congrats to them. All right. Let me go back. All right, moving on. We have the Coldwater Rumble, This is an Air Vipa race.
Yep.
In Arizona. And I think it's a loop. There's like a 10-mile loop, and then there's another loop. I don't know, some loopy loop thing. And they have 100.
It's a loopy loop.
You know, it's the desert. There's just like
it all looks the same. It all looks the same. Just run your loopy loops. Don't step on a cactus.
Yeah. Don't roll your ankle and wipe out on rocks.
Yeah.
Not like I did 3 times. So there's 100-mile, there's 100K, a 60K, a 40K, a 10-mile, and a 5-mile. So basically, whatever distance you want to do, you can do it. I'll go to the results. So the 100-miler, first place is none other than Bronco Billy.
Yeah. I mean, like, literally, like, it isn't, 2 episodes after I'm like, yeah, man, I kind of haven't heard anything from this guy. You're like, oh, yeah, he's out there steady grinding. Here he is out there crushing a 100-miler, 15 out, like just shy of 16 hours, 15:45. Absolute beast.
Yep, and we talked to him because he was one of the ultra runners. We talked about him because he's one of the ultra runners of the year. He did the Rocky Mountain Slam last year. I can't remember if he finished or if one of the races got messed up, or maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. But regardless, I did hear there is a video or documentary coming out about his Rocky Mountain Slam last year. So I'm really interested to see that because he did some cool races. And that's Bronco Billy, Jeff Browning. That's his 30th 100-mile win here at Coldwater Rumble. So I think the only one that has more is Carl Meltzer. Goat. I think he's got I'm going to say 50, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Wins.
Yes.
Yeah. Like not finishes, wins.
Yeah. Bronco Billy's he's on a streak. I think he's got 100-mile win every year for a while. I can't remember exactly how many years, but. And then Devin Yanko, another big name in the ultra running community. She was the first place female in the 100-miler. All right, the 100K. We have Jake Jackson, finished 10 hours and 9 minutes, first place male. Laura Null, 12 hours, 15 minutes, first place female. And then we have the 60K. And this is the last race I'm going to do results for at Coldwater Rumble because the rest aren't ultras. Yeah. Not that that's bad, but this is the Ultra Running News Network. So, Christopher St. John, 4 hours and 34 minutes in the 60K, first place male. And this is interesting. Second place male, Nick Curry. That's Jamil Curry's brother, who's super fast. Although he runs hard rock like pretty much every year. But he does that flat stuff, and he does it really well too. So he's pretty versatile. He got second, 4 hours and 44 minutes. First place female was Shea Acolano, and she finished in 4 hours and 49 minutes. So congrats to all of them at Coldwater Rumble in the desert. And here's one, and I don't even know why I wanted to talk about this. It's called Lake of the Woods 50K. I think the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's in Ohio.
Good Ohio. There it is again.
Farmersville. Do you know where Farmersville is? I didn't even look it up.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and grab this real fast. I'll give you a breakdown of where it is. Farmersville, Ohio. That is shocking news. Close to a farm. It is. So I will say this. Listen, I love me some Ohio, right? Like Ohio is a great state. It has some other things to be desired, But as far as the state goes, it is a pretty cool state. Like, it has a lot of great, like, scenery. It has some tricky, like, pretty sections that you just never knew exists.
Yeah.
Farmerville does not appear to be in one of those areas. Listen, West Ohio, I love you, but this place is southwest of Dayton and northwest of Cincinnati. It's out like it is. It's just like, I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it is flat as a pancake out there, probably.
Yeah.
So I would assume that we look at the finishes on this 50K, and it's probably like marathon times. I mean, these people should have been screaming out there.
Yeah. Okay. Results. Anthony Goodrich from Clarksville, Ohio. Oh, that's the 5K.
It's like 24.
Yeah. What? Ethan Deep, Dayton, Ohio, 5 hours, 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Overall winner.
I
mean, it should be faster than that, I would think.
Yeah, but, I mean, yeah.
There's only 25 finishers.
Yeah, this feels like a really small.
It's a low key race. Yeah.
Yeah, super low key.
I looked it up. I think it was a 3 mile. It was a 3 mile loop. There was one river crossing. Like
a 3 mile loop.
Yep, wide track, 3 mile loop, one river crossing.
Hold up! They did 10 loops.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's why the times are so bad. They had to stop because they got dizzy as shit every so often.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need fireball. You don't need fireball at aid stations when you're doing loops like that. Okay, that's holy cow.
And first place female, Crystal Clark, 50 years old, from Morrow, Ohio, 5 hours, 52 minutes. Looks like most of these people are from down there in that area.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anyone from, I mean, for real, I haven't seen anyone that's from east of even Dayton. Like all those cities, like Avon, like whoever that is from Avon, like Avon's way, way, way up by Toledo, right? Like you're a Toledo guy. Isn't that Avon? Isn't that like way up by?
Not up. Like, I don't think that's up our way. No, it's Indiana. Avon, Indiana.
Oh, Avon, Indiana. Okay.
I think that's over by the border there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like those folks are from, that's cool for them, though. Listen, like if that is like a grassroots race and it starts picking up, you know what I mean? Like that's awesome.
I'll say if you know, I'm sure it's probably a cool community race. And, you know, if I lived there, near there, I would do it because, you know, I just like to do a local race.
I mean, shit, that's how I got suckered into doing ultras to begin with. Oh, look, a cool little local race. Let me sign up for that. Next thing you know, you're signing up for dumb stuff.
Yep, exactly. All right. And the last race we're going to go over is Crystal Springs. I just wanted to go over this because it's a Bay Area race, and it was actually the first event that I ever did after moving to the Bay Area. And this takes place out in Woodside, California. There's some really nice trails down there, some redwoods, and it's a really cool area. So the 50K overall winner was Nate Slentrich in 4 hours and 22 minutes, which is pretty good time on that course, I think. And the overall female winner was, might be non-binary, Calamia, 4 hours and 58 minutes. Non-binary, maybe in the female category. It's first place. So, no, there might have been a non-binary category, actually. That's what it was, because first place female is Jessie Brewer, 5 hours, 58 minutes. So congrats to them three. And, and that's cool if they have a whole separate category for non-binary. So that's awesome. Okay. Oh, it is. Yeah, right here. Duh.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Congrats to all them. Now let's get into some other. Oh, shoot. I lied. One more. we have Dark Anchor. This is a Yeti. Yeti race down in Savannah, Georgia. I didn't see the course details on this one, but it's a 34-hour race. So I'm guessing it's like a loop of some sort. The winner was Angelo Hernandez, 126 miles. First place female was Jess Mullen at 122.5 miles. And one cool thing about this race is that a lot of the winners of the Keeping Trail Running Weird Awards that we talked about a couple different episodes also ran this race. Chad Ultra, he actually won the weirdest runner, right? The weirdest runner award. And one of the nominees, AF marathoner, right?
Yeah.
What's he do? He takes pictures of porta potties.
I don't think he. Wait, was he? Yes, he was one. Yeah. He take his whole famous thing is he takes pictures in the porta johns. So he did. Awesome. He did mention chit chatted with him a little bit on Instagram. He did mention that if we're in the neck of the woods for his race, we're more than welcome to jump in on a porta potty picture with him. So,
dude, that would be hilarious.
Something to keep in mind. We're welcome to jump into a porta potty picture. But him, and then this is her name on Instagram. So I believe it's Costume Chick.
Yeah,
she ran it. I think she knocked out a 100K. I believe is what she racked up. So pretty good run for her. I mean, not for her, but 100K. That's steady days. That's a good work. And
she actually she did 101.5 miles.
101.
Charlotte Correr. Yep.
Yeah. And so
congrats,
cool
Charlotte. Nice job.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because talking with a AF marathoner with a porta john picture guy. It's one of those things where it's a timed race, so you sit down, you eat a little, you drink a little, you see a friend, you shuffle a couple miles with them, you take a nap, aka sleep for the night, you shuffle a couple more miles, and
fall asleep in the porta john.
That's not what's kind of funny is that's kind of a cool way to run a race too. You know what I mean? I feel like shuffling around a little bit right now. I don't know. It's kind of a cool race.
I can see the appeal. I can see the appeal of it. I did that 6 hour, and there were people doing the 24-hour, the 100-mile. And I'm like, I could see if I was doing the 100-mile or the 24-hour, I'd be kind of taking it easier too and stopping longer between laps and hanging out with people. It'd be fun to do as a group, maybe. It'd be fun. All right, let's get into some news. So Ultra Running Magazine, they do the North American Ultra Runners of the Year awards. Well, they also started doing the top 3 ultra runners of the world. Okay. And in third place for the females, it's Katharina Hartmuth from Germany. And she finished second at UTMB and the World Mountain and Trail Running Championships in Austria. She finished fourth at Transgran Canaria, 128K on Las Palmas. And she currently lives in Zurich, Switzerland. So second place at UTMB. That's behind Courtney. That's solid work there. In Transgran Canaria, that's a very, very competitive race. World Mountain and Trail Running Championships second, and first at Eiger Trail Ultra and UTMB. And I'll say this, Johnny, I was in Switzerland like a year and a half ago, and the trails around there, like the Eiger Ultra Trail, that's some serious stuff. Check out some YouTube videos on the Eiger Ultra Trail sometime. It's beautiful, man, but that's got to be a hard race. So congrats to her. And Alexander Sorokin, this guy, he's the one we talked about on the record-setting episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like the best flat runner in the world. We talked about this already. He set his own 100K world record. And he won the IAU 24-hour world championships. So that was his 2 events this year. Okay. And in second place, we have Danand Paulez. His first name is Aurelien Danand Paulez, and he's from France, and he got first place at Hard Rock this year. So congrats to him. That's awesome. And Diagonal de Fou, which is one of the hardest races out there. He got first at that as well. So I can see why he's second ultra runner in the world. And first at some other race in Switzerland, UTMB race, and 2 other races in France where he got second. So, and Katie Scheid, she's an American living in France. And we talked about her. This is the one that got us talking on our discussion about the Eco Trail Paris.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a heck of a year. Coastal Challenge Costa Rica first, Diagonal de Fou first, OCC second, Western States second. I mean, just off the charts good year. So, and first place, of course, Courtney DeWalter, which
not a shock,
and Jim Walmsley. They are the best in show this year. And we all know what Courtney did. First place Bandera, first place Transgran Canaria, first place Western States, first place Hard Rock, first place UTMB, and ran Javelina 100K with her mom. So
yeah.
And Walmsley, of course, first male to win UTMB, first American male to win UTMB. He also won 2 other big races, one in France, Nice, and then that one in I think it's in Croatia. That's how he got his entry into UTMB. So, all right, moving on to the data awards. And this is, I love data. I do. I love statistics. I love all this stuff. So let's see. The first category is most races completed, right?
Yeah.
And the winner is Erjiang Huang. And he led the category, narrowly beat out second and third place. He closed out the year with 27, but he had 28 races. Okay. Now, here's his ultra sign up. And he did a ton of Bay Area races, so I'm assuming he lives around the Bay Area somewhere. 50K, but there are some sub-ultra races in here too. There's 35K, a 30K, but mostly 50Ks. There's a 100-miler, 100K, a handful of 50-milers. So, but anyways, that's like over half the year of weekends probably.
It's kind of funny because I don't know. I was really kind of surprised. You know what I mean? I thought it'd be way higher than that, right? Like, I don't know.
I think it has in the past. I'd have to look back at the 2020 awards for the year of 2022. I think there was. I'm thinking it was a lot more than 28.
Yeah.
But I have to look back. But if you're paying for all those races, man, that's gonna be a sizable chunk. So the next category was most tenacious, and we have this. So this is a good one. Let me blow this up. Most tenacious, one of our favorite categories. The result is given to the runner with the most DNF results of the year. So, oops, that was an accident. All right. Anyway, so the most DNFs. I don't know. Okay, let me just pull that back up again. Sorry, everyone. All right, here we are. Eric Durrett. Okay, most DNFs. And we can scroll down and see all of his DNFs right here.
I mean, it's really impressive, right?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DNFs in 2023. You got everything from 200 milers to 50Ks, a couple 100 milers. That's like, so my question is like, and there's nothing wrong with DNFing. I've DNF'd, but like, my question is, why would someone keep signing up for all these races? Like, are they just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks? I'd really like to talk to the person and see.
So here's my question. And maybe this is just me being, a poo-pooer here. Is it on purpose? Is it on purpose? Like did they see this award last year and was like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to get most tenacious. I will know. This person's like, I will know in my heart of hearts, I DNF'd, Devil on the Divide 50K. I DNF'd that at the last aid station with like 10 hours to go or, whatever crazy ass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then you get to the next one, you're like, all right, watch this. I'm going to DNF because look, like,
well,
because these are all finishes here, right?
Yeah. So he actually finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He finished 6 races and DNF'd 9.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
it's like, are you just throwing stuff to see what sticks? Or are you tanking them on purpose? You just going out there to hang out?
Right. Like, is he just doing miles with people?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about it.
I'd love to talk to him. See.
Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting person. So maybe we'll have to try hit him up on LinkedIn or LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
I haven't made a LinkedIn. I haven't made a LinkedIn page yet for Ultra Running News Network, but there are other ultra running.
Somebody might be worried about work a little bit too much right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Rookie of the Year, Praveen Kumar Chandran, Rookie of the Year. So this is the person who posted their first race and went on to complete the most races of all new runners. So let's check out their ultra sign up. And okay, so this is a rookie, just started in 2023. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like, yeah, okay. So like 17 races, 16 races. That's a lot for like first starting. I guess, it is exciting. But if you look at these races, 6 hour,
yeah,
5K or half marathon, 4 hour, half marathon, 3 hour, 25K. Like, none of these are ultras.
Yeah, it is. So they are not ultras, but man, once that person got the bug, they jumped all the way in, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
it's nuts. Like they just went all in.
Yeah, I get it. It is exciting when you get the bug.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're working their way into ultras. I see they did run a 50K in October. So yeah, maybe next year they'll have a whole bunch of ultras under their belt. So yeah, so that was the winners of the data awards. And one person that won, I wanted to talk about this really quick because I just heard a podcast with him, or well, I heard a podcast with somebody talking about him. Is the guy that the podcast was Adventure Jogger, and this guy that does the Run Spirited, he 25 most inspiring ultra runners or whatever. He talked about Andrew Glaze, who won most inspirational on ultrasignup. And the one fascinating thing that I learned about Andrew Glaze was that I think now it's probably 200 straight weeks of 100-mile plus weeks. Like, I can't even fathom. I've never done 1 week with 100 miles. Well, I mean, I've run a 100-miler, but I've never done a training week with 100 miles total.
Right.
Maybe 75 was maybe the most. So,
yeah.
And that was a lot.
That's asking a lot of your body relentlessly.
Yeah.
Like relentlessly.
And like when we were talking before this episode, you mentioned that he's a firefighter too. So he's like physically doing physical work and also putting in all these miles. Like that's just
physical work. I mean, you and I know a couple firefighters that rescuing ducks from storm drains, you know.
Yeah.
Can't wait for them to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah, I come from a long line of firefighters in my family, so I know the deal. All right, moving on. We have the FKT website. They have the FKTs of the year. We talked about a lot of these when we did our FKT episode, but Lizzie Richardson for Paddy Buckley Round. And I'm not sure what the Paddy Buckley Round is, but I'm guessing it's over in the UK. It's some sort of loop, I'm sure, over some fells and similar to Bob Graham Round, I'm guessing. And David Hedges for Nolan's 14, which we talked about Nolan's 14. That's the 14 14ers, summiting 14 14ers. Mm-hmm. And it's like 100 some miles, and you have to do it in 60 hours. And it's like something crazy, like 50 or 60,000 feet of climbing or something. But Claire Banworth, we already talked about her, Colorado Trail, and Tyler Andrews for Aconcagua, which I'm not sure what that is either. Probably should have looked that up before the show. But yeah, we're all busy. Jesse Picari and Nick Fowler for Pacific Crest Trail. So Pacific Crest Trail has different FKTs, right? You have south to north supported, you have south to north unsupported, you have north to south, supported, north to south unsupported. And Jessica and Nick both did north to south unsupported, I believe. So they were number 3. Hillary Girardi for Mount Blanc, and I'm guessing that's maybe a route similar to UTMB. I'm not sure. And Jack Kunzel for Denali. And Denali, we talked about. That's the highest peak in the United States. It's in. He just crushed it. He beat Killian. Yeah. He beat Killian's record, and he beat somebody else's record. I can't remember who else, but yeah, so pretty impressive. And then first place, and no surprise, we had Jenny Hoffman for her Transcon. That's the one we talked about for a while in our records episode.
Yeah.
She was going to start in, I believe, San Diego or LA, and the streets were flooded, so she drove up to San Francisco and started from here. And then Carl Saab, right, the Belgian dentist, who's a beast, who finished Barkley this year, and also set the south to north supported Pacific Crest Trail, and set the record for the Oregon segment too, right? I believe.
I think he set for all. I think he set for all segments individually too, and added
all 3
states.
Miles.
Yeah, and added 100 miles up in Washington. That's
right, the detour.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyways, that's the FKTs of the year. I really like the FKTs. I like the idea of it. It's just something different from your normal races. I have my eye on FKT in Ohio. I'm not going to say where it's at because then everybody's going to go do it before I do. So.
Keep it all to myself. I just want to have an FKT for around my block. Like if I can hold that down,
yeah,
I'd have it for like a day, and my son would go out there like, that's cool. Dad. It's just like hammer it, hammer it.
Like watch this.
Yeah.
All right, so award season. That's got to be wrapping up our award season. The last few episodes we've been talking about a lot of awards in various areas. So I think that's probably wrapping it up. Now we're going to move on to some news. The UTMB saga has taken some more steps, and so this article came out last week, and it basically said, or actually, was it over the weekend when this came out?
Yes.
I think it was Sunday.
I feel like it's Sunday. It started kind of popping off.
Yeah. So basically, Kilian Jornet and Zach Miller, which are 2 of the world's best ultra runners, hands down, they both sent a letter to a handful, or maybe more than a handful, I think like 20 or 25 elite ultra runners, and not calling for a boycott, but I don't know, it was kind of like, tell me you're going to boycott something without saying you're going to boycott something.
Yeah.
UTMB, right? Because, I mean, this goes back to when UTMB got bought out by Ironman and started buying up races in the United States and actually all over the world, right? And they're making all their races in-house, inclusive of their organization. And so a lot of the ultra running world was kind of getting alarmed about this because they were bought by Ironman, who is a profit machine. And Ironman, there's big controversy over what they did to the sport of triathloning. So of course there's concern in the ultra running world. And, I've heard some reports of like entry fees going up, aid stations being skimped out on. But, I don't know how true that is. I ran Canyons the first year UTMB took it over, and it seemed okay, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going now. And then it took another step, and let's see. Yeah, so it took another step in weirdness when the whole Gary Robbins race. Gary Robbins had put on a race at Vail Resorts in Whistler.
Mm-hmm.
He'd put it on Wham. He'd put it on for a few years or several years, and then all of a sudden he was having trouble getting a hold of his contacts that do the permitting at this Vail Resort in Vancouver or in Whistler. And so he's, trying to get these permits, and he's just kind of getting ghosted. And he got too close to the race, so he had to cancel his race. Well, lo and behold, not long after that, they announced that UTMB is having a race that's very similar to Gary Robbins' race, and at the same place, and on the same date that Gary was having his races, right? So
it was
very sus.
I mean, it was his race. I mean, they had poached his race. They were giving his race. You know what I mean? I mean, it was next level grimy.
Yeah, it definitely appears that way, right? And so Gary put out a letter. What really went down in the Whistler with the WAM races. Several other ultra running personalities had kind of spoke out against this happening. UTMB put out a statement about it, saying that it's being portrayed not really how it went down. But I mean, the writing's kind of on the wall about what I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. But so anyways, that happened. And then in December, they say they didn't ask Corinne Malcolm to come back the next year to do the commentating for UTMB. Basically, she got fired, and they said it was because she was too outspoken. And
commentating for Western States.
No, UTMB. Well, she's still commentating for Western States.
Okay.
But she used to do the live stream over at UTMB.
Yeah.
So several high-profile runners spoke out against that. Including Kilian Jornet. And after that, Zach Miller had a social media post that it was fairly neutral, but talking about how he was conflicted running at UTMB this year just because of all this stuff going down. So fast forward to Sunday, and this article comes out that Kilian Jornet and Zach Miller, like we were already talking about, they sent a letter to the ultrarunners saying, we need to make a statement here, show UTMB, but show them that we don't like the direction they're going in. We can all enter in a different race. And one coach that disagreed with them, that got a hold of this email, basically leaked it so everybody could see what was going on.
I want to know whose coach that was, and I want to know how that coach got it.
Well,
right, because it only went to athletes, right? It only went to runners.
Yes, so this coach is a British coach, Martin Cox, and he was not happy about this. And he said his runners are still running UTMB. But Jornet but Kilian and Zach, they emphasize the importance of responsible business practices and express their desire for UTMB to consider not only their own interests, but also the betterment of the sport of ultra and trail running. And that was one thing that, with the Ironman takeover is Ironman doesn't know ultra running. They don't know the community. They're very profit driven. So, they might not care so much about the sport itself. They just care about making money.
They just see a new market. They see a new market that's coming up, a rising market, a new stream of revenue to tap into.
Yeah. And you got to wonder if they went after Western States too, because they were buying up these races. But Western States was like no, that's not going to happen. But they did kind of get into a partnership with Western States in a way, because, you know, it's there's definitely some sort of partnership there, because some of the golden ticket races are also UTMB races. And I know that Hoka has a lot to do with that, but still. So anyways, this letter came out. And when this letter was leaked, I was wondering, is this real? Or is this just something that somebody made up, or, you know?
That the Reddit, I don't know how much you mess around on Reddit, but on Reddit, the ultra running thread on Reddit, it was hot. I mean, people, that's what everyone's like, this has got to be made up. There's no way this is real. You know what I mean? Like, that seemed to be a pretty solid consistent. It was, I mean, there was definitely some people, like 1/3 to 40% of people in there was like, I don't know, this doesn't feel like it. And then people were posting this article like, like, this looks pretty legit, So
yeah. So so basically they're calling on runners to run a different race and all this. So fast forward a couple days, and both Zach and Killian today released some statements on Instagram, and basically confirming that it was in fact a legitimate letter. So, and they did, and UTMB did reach out to them, and they met. Now UTMB has made some promises that they're going to let's read a little bit of this. So trail running evolution, partly thanks to UTMB, has brought positives like competitive races, prize money, anti-doping, media coverage, and sponsorships. These developments are in many ways beneficial to the sport. Nonetheless, growth should be thoughtful. Lately, the aforementioned progress seems to have been marred by missteps. This has included controversial race acquisitions, neglecting or unhearing the community and what we believe are important subjects such as environmental impacts or accessibility. The UTMB board stated that some were due to misinformation and misunderstandings. After a January 23rd meeting with the UTMB board, I'm hopeful for a stronger and open communication between the community, including elite athletes represented by PTRA and UTMB, focused on sport development with its values at the center. As an athlete in a privileged position, staying silent would be easier, but given the community's concerns, speaking out felt necessary. By mobilizing elite trail runners together with Zach Miller, we aim to foster collaboration between race boards and runners, finding common ground for the sport betterment. This isn't about creating discord, but about fostering constructive dialogue to preserve our sport's integrity and values. By speaking up and engaging in these conversations, we strive to collaboratively grow the sport while honoring its heritage and future. So, yeah, pretty thoughtful message from Killian. And you know what? We are super lucky to have guys like Killian and Zach Miller and girls like Corinne Malcolm. And, just these athletes that are really respected and kind of just laying it out like they see it and like a lot of us are thinking. And I don't want to really be biased on the news, Ultra Running News Network, but I didn't put in for the UTMB lottery this year, even though it was one of my bucket races. But
yeah, it's one of those things where, Killian is calling out. He's very, very, very subtly calling out what you and I just talked about, though, right? Like the race acquisitions. Come on, like we know what we're talking about. We're talking about Whistler. The essentially being tone deaf to what's going on. I mean, that's talking about how Ironman is pretty well known for going into places and like making a mess and leaving it kind of like we all tore up, like, oh well, all right, well, we were here, see y'all later, like deuces. You're like, dude, what? You guys just wreck this place, and they'll take off. And so that's, he very delicately called that out, and like, how honest is UTMB's, and Ironman being when they say, oh yeah, we hear you, we'll be better. You hope, you certainly hope, but you also recognize corporate lingo when you see corporate lingo, right? Like, oh, that was disinformation, and
yep. So yeah, that is right. So they met with UTMB yesterday, and this is what Zach Miller said about that. Yesterday, Killian, Francesco, and I were able to have a conversation with UTMB. They listened to what we had to say. We listened to what they had to say. It was a good first step, and I'm grateful for it. The next step is to take action. Killian and I are not here only for conversation. We are here for change. UTMB has expressed to us that they are working for the good of the trail running community. It is our hope that we can work with them to find a positive way forward. Talking is indeed an action, and I'm grateful for this first step. But in running, we take not one stride, but many. So here's to the next actionable step. Let's help each other finish the race.
And for those of you that are listening to this, if you want to see the posts, and you don't already follow Zach or Killian, I did go ahead and share these posts to our Instagram story, and also share them in Threads. If you happen to be in Threads, they're both there. So if you want to go check them out there, you can take a look at them, kind of read through them. Also, give those two guys a follow. They're actually really cool follows. I mean, some of the videos and pictures they post. I mean, on top of everything else, they're great follows.
Yeah, so that's a great point. They're really good people, and we're lucky to have them in the sport for sure. All right, so enough with the drama. Let's
Here we go.
Unless you have anything else to add.
I don't. I'm super stoked to hear this last one. I have a really funny kind of like tie into this last thing. So,
all right. So this last thing we're gonna go over today is this news story out of China. There's this guy who ran this marathon, and he did this marathon in 3.5 hours. Okay. And this isn't the first time that he's done this, but his nickname is Uncle Chen. He's 50 years old. He finished the race in 574th place, beating nearly 1,000 other runners. And the catch is the guy did the whole marathon, smoked like a pack of heaters. Like he chain smoked.
Burning them, baby.
He chain smoked cigarettes the whole marathon. But he finished in 3.5 hours, which, like, what? Like, I can't even run a 3.5 hour marathon.
I love that. I love the fact that, like, it's not like he just, like, never mind, I'm burning heaters the entire time. I bumped that at 3:30 too. Like, that is amazing. So,
yeah.
Here's why I love this particular story. Many moons ago, old Johnny R was in the Army. All right. This is many eons ago. I was in the Army. And I had there were multiple guys in my platoon that, it was the late 90s. It was the late 90s. Like, it was the Army. We had dudes that smoked like they were getting paid to smoke. And I'm talking like Newports. Give me all of the fiberglass or whatever the hell is in those things, right? Like I'm talking like smoking like the rough stuff. And they would legit, like, we'd be, getting ready to take off for runs, and they'd be taking that last drag, and like come back in, they'd light right back up. And Jamie, I'm telling you, like, these dudes were running like,
oh my God.
They were running 6-minute miles. You know what I mean? Like we were all really good, fast runners. 6-minute miles are that's nothing nowadays. But You know what I mean?
That's fast, dude. That's fast.
We were able to hold down 6 to 6 30-minute miles, and these guys were smoking. I mean, they were burning through Newports like it was their jobs.
Wow.
So anyways, when you had brought this to me about this, like, hey, check this guy out, he like chain smoked, I'm like, oh man, I have definitely been around dudes who are like, oh yeah, you gotta get that Newport in there to open up the lungs. I'm like, not sure how the lung works, but okay, you know what I mean? Like, if you say so.
Well, the funny thing is, it says, despite Chen's apparent aversion to oxygen, he came in 574th place. It was an hour faster than his 4 hour and 29-minute finish in 2021. So there he is smoking. He said, I believe I read, he said it helps him relax.
I love it.
While cigarettes certainly aren't a performance-enhancing drug, some on Chinese social media question whether he was leaving his competitors in more than a cloud of dust.
That is awesome. That would kind of suck being behind that dude and just like sucking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I read in a different article that had a paywall, so we couldn't use it, but it helped him relax. So he basically just chain smoked the whole time. So anyway, thought that was kind of a fun way to close out the show today. So
yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, do you have anything else today?
The only thing I have to add on is the same thing I add on every single time. I'm going to keep adding it on until we get to 1 million people following us and commenting on there. The only thing I have to add on is keep in mind you can watch us on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment on YouTube. If YouTube's not your thing, I get it. It's a little bit longer. Maybe you want to throw us on a podcast and listen to us while you're on your long run, or if you're rehabbing like me on your rower or on your elliptical or whatever you're doing. If you want to listen to us on podcasts, absolutely subscribe, like to your favorite podcast. We're on all of them. I don't know if one we're not on. We're on all of them. So do that. Hit us up on the socials. We have Threads. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. I just found out we got the X, aka Twitter.
Yep, we're on Twitter now. Give us a follow.
All of them. Give us a follow. More importantly than following us, we want this to be a community of sharing stuff, learning. It's just let's make it a cool thing where everyone gets to learn, grow, be better at the end of the day. So comment, follow, participate. You know what? If you hear something you want to talk a little bit of shit, about what something I say or something I do. I'm down for a little bit of shit talking. Yeah. So let's do that too.
Yeah, and we don't know what the future holds for this, because we might be mixing it up a bit. We might maybe add in some guests here and there. So if you have some important stuff to talk about, let us know. We just want to try to build a community, kind of like an ultra running community, but virtually. So
well-informed ultra running community.
Yeah, let's talk about news and stuff.
Cool.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of your week and a good weekend. Get out for your long run, even though the weather's probably crappy, but. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take us out.
See y'all later.